Poor Things, which is based off of a novel by Alistair Gray.
I was very lucky because at none of the schools that I went to was I actively discouraged. Many children are, of course, actively discouraged by teachers who tell them that's not how you do it, you know, and give them rather boring exercises so that they can, in those days, so that they could paint like Titian or draw, you know. Whereas I knew that you had to start by painting exactly what you enjoyed, and the more you painted what you enjoy doing, the more you see it's bad and can be improved, and therefore you work at it.
Now, from what I understand, Alistair Gray was a Glasgow native. He not only was a novelist, but he was also an artist. He drew his own drawings within his novelizations. With Poor Things, his drawings illustrated the story that he was trying to tell, and a lot of his drawings drew inspiration from his hometown of Glasgow. A lot of his novels did. And the information that I've gathered is that there are quite a few people from Glasgow that are upset with this film because it's not a true representation of Alistair Gray's work. It's taking it and adding on to it and kind of going in its own direction.
I approached Alistair Gray. I had read his novel around 2009, and I immediately fell in love with it. So I reached out to him and I went and met him in Glasgow. He was a very wonderful, energetic man. He walked me around Glasgow and showed me a lot of the places that inspired him. And after like a brief meeting, he just gave me his blessing.
Okay, I've seen your film Dogtooth. I think you're a very talented young man. You're welcome to make my film, my novel into a film. Okay, bye. And then just left.
From the moment I first read the novel, I imagined a very special world that it was taking place. In the novel itself, I think it's real. It's a more realistic period piece. But since I wanted to concentrate on the character of Bella Baxter and kind of make this film through her point of view, I had decided early on that we should build this world for her, that it should be familiar, but also something very unique.
The film takes place in a fairy tale world. We go on this journey with Bella where she is meeting different men and she is experiencing different parts of life. She starts off as a brain-dead person, and as the film progresses, she starts to develop her mind and develop her personality and ultimately form the person that she wants to become. I think the heart of this film is about a person who wants to transform into the person they want to be without being shackled by the people and the society that tries to shape them into who they think they should be.
This is Bella. She's an experiment.
She's understanding what it is to be a member of society.
Good evening.
The more autonomous she becomes, the more challenged these men seem to be by it.
This film is about a woman named Bella Baxter. She is under the supervision of Dr. Goldwyn Baxter, and they have a weird relationship. This movie reminded me of Frankenstein, whereas in this case, Dr. Goldwyn is Frankenstein and Bella is Frankenstein's monster, and even the novel drew inspiration from the Frankenstein story. Emma Stone plays Bella Baxter, and Emma Stone is phenomenal in this film. She has a great presence, she has great comedic timing. I think she portrays this character very well. But she is incredibly brave, man, because she is bucky naked in this film.
Big and green and buck-ass nude.
You should expect, as a viewer, that you are going to see nudity in a Yorgos Lanthimos film. And as an actor, you should expect that you are going to be naked in a Yorgos Lanthimos film. William Dafoe plays Dr. Goldwyn Baxter, and we don't need to say nothing about William Dafoe. We know who William Dafoe is. He's a thespian, he's a legend, he's an icon, he's a phenomenal actor, and this role is no exception. They put prosthetics on his face, and he's hideous like Darcidius. And there's a story behind the scars and bruising on him, and it is a sad tale, and I would love to see a spin-off about that story. We have Remy Youssef, who plays Max, and he is supposed to examine Bella and study her, but eventually he falls in love with her, and it is kind of a weird relationship that they have because, you know, Bella wants to branch off and do her own thing, whereas Max is a little upset that she wants to do that, but he could be one of the nicest people in this film next to Dr. Goldwyn Baxter. But then as I was watching the film, you know, I wasn't quite sure whether I should like Max. Does he have something up his sleeve? What's really going on with him? You're not quite sure. Then we have the man who really needs no introduction. We have Mark Ruffalo as Duncan, and Mark Ruffalo, I've never seen him in a role like this.
A man over there repeated blinks at me. I blinked back. For polite, I think.
And he crushes it. He kills it in this film. Every time he's on screen, I laugh my ass off. Oh. I think this film is Yorgos Lanthimos' most ambitious film because you look at the scenery, you look at the landscape, you look at the scope, you look at the visuals, you look at the cinematography, you hear the music. All of the technical aspects in this film are just mwah, 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 chef's kisses all the way around to every single department.
It felt sort of timeless. Your mind just starts racing of where it could go. London, Lisbon, Paris. We've built a composite set, epic in scale. Yorgos wanted a 1930s film, but with today's technology.
Yorgos Lanthimos has a style all of his own. He's like a filmmaker. When you watch his movies, you know you're watching a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. And then the music in this film, the score, supposedly is created by a first-time composer.
One of the first things I considered was wind instruments. I really like wind instruments, and I think they're a bit underused in film music. I started trying to play with what would happen if you started to bend artificial wind, and it's quite unnerving. And I think in the scarier parts of the score, a lot of it's down to this, and I think weirdly there's a commonality between that and it's like when you see a dead body used as a puppet or something, it's like this weird animation of something that shouldn't be alive, but it's acting in a human way, and so that kind of plays in a bit to the fact that, you know, the main character is arguably, you know, in some ways a zombie, and there's that real oddness that occasionally pops up a bit.
So ultimately, all the way around, from a story level to an acting level to a technical level with the directing, with the music, with the production design, with the set design, with the visual effects, all of that stuff is absolutely amazing, fantastic. There's no other words for it. Overall, I love this film. This is a phenomenal film. It has everything a movie-going audience could want in a film. It has a great solid story that is engaging, and I can understand how some people may say, oh, this film has gratuitous nudity, but it makes sense within this story because it is an examination of this main character and her going on her transformational journey into becoming who she wants to be, and she explores all of the many different aspects of life, including her body and sexuality, which is a part of her character's journey. That's all I have to say.
For a while, she was a very difficult character to play, but then I realized, in a way, it was only because she was the...
Stop it.
Hi. You're watching Notes on a Scene.